ensure that the pastors and preachers are true to their religion. Speaking at Kiambu Pastors Fellowship in a conference for chaplaincy at Christian Church International Church in Thika, Kiambu County, Pastor Dorcas added that individuals found guilty of preaching false doctrine should be punished on their own, while the rest continue with the good work of spreading the gospel. This comes in the wake of sects and cults masking their activities with religion.
When it comes to matters divine, they had better leave it to us and to our God, because he says, even gates of hell shall not prevail. The more you try to persecute the church, the bigger and greater it becomes. When we are talking about the church agenda is simply an agenda for revival. Imagine now, one of the bishops of our father here decides to do the wrong thing, and they come for the whole church. And that's why the other day you heard me say, the Church of Jesus Christ is not an individual. If you get one person who is doing the wrong thing, get that person.
Attorney General Justin Muturi says that they have already written to Preacher Ezekiel Odero regarding the legality of his church, specifically seeking to understand why the church should not be closed and its license revoked. Speaking to a special committee of 11 members of the Senate that is investigating the Shakahola incident, Muturi states that efforts that have been made to develop robust strategies to ensure that a law to control religious institutions is enforced. He says that the former Attorney General, Professor Githu Muigai, initiated the process, but it has not been fruitful, and it is time to pre-examine the issue.
To be decentralized, especially with regard to the public-facing services that we offer, like this one. Because just like the registration of companies or even a police station, if you don't report any transgression, a policeman will not just walk around and start saying you haven't done this, or the registrar of companies will not come to your company and tell you, I want to see what it is that you are doing, until you have breached any of the provisions of the enabling law under which you are registered, or somebody has reported something. And therefore it's just natural that the office of the registrar could only act upon finding reports coming up, and of course this has been a matter of public notoriety. And therefore I think, in fairness, we cannot say that the registrar has contributed. The registrar has no capacity to travel around the country, and we've just heard that close to 40,000 of the approximately 100,000 societies that are registered there are of religious nature. So indeed, just to give that context, that the guidelines came just last year after the lifting of the moratorium. And that's why of the 978 applications that have so far been made since the lifting of the moratorium, only 11 have been processed and registered. Yes, so we confirm that we are not available in the villages, because it just not happened. And I think it's not time for us to begin apportioning blame. Suffices that now we are saying we must devolve our services, because what if we had some offices in Kilifi? It may well be that some of these things may have been detected much earlier. Even the other one, you've had since registration in 2012, notwithstanding that they know that they are required to file returns, they have never filed a single return to date. Perhaps one could ask maybe whether the registrar may not have noticed that and written to them and threatened to register them. But of course, that is maybe a different question that I should be the one asking. But that is maybe internal. Thank you, Chair.
I don't know whether there are follow-up questions.
Yes, there are follow-up questions.
Follow-up questions on that, and then we come to different questions. I'll give you, and then Senator Faki.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Senator Veronica again. I'm very concerned, Honorable Attorney General, together with the Registrar General, about the focus you have given to the registration of.
And still on matters religion, the preacher who has nicknamed himself Jesus of Tongaren was interviewed by the Bungoma County Police Commander Francis Coley regarding his religious teachings and activities. Wekesa, who was accompanied by his followers, said that he has nothing to hide or fear, as the moon and the sun are his witnesses, even in the court, even as the court. According to the police commander, his call was to serve the public interest and protect the faith of Christians.
Kitu ya mwanzo ni kuangalia kumsikiza huyu ndugu. Baada ya kumsikiza ndio hapo sasa kutakuja na masuala ya kipolisi na kisheria, tutamhoji kulingana na hizo njia. Kama kuna ufunjaji wa sheria tutamuelezea pia kulikuwa na ufunjaji wa sheria. Lakini wakati huu siwezi kusema kwamba kumekuwa na ufunjaji wa sheria kwa sababu tayari ni mahojiano. Katika nafasi hii ya mahojiano au utakuja kusema kwamba amefunja sheria.
Shukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa ajili ya siku ya leo, kwa ajili ya maandalizi ambayo ameitenda. Nimefika mahali hapa maana Madam OCS wa sub-county ya Mkuyuni alikuja kwa boma na akanieleza ya kwamba mkubwa huku county commander ananihitaji tukue na mazungumzo naye. Na nikasema ya kwamba nitakuja, na leo nimefika na nimeshukuru Mungu maana palipo na wasee haparipiki chambo.
Elsewhere, the Akorino section now says the government has no capacity to regulate churches and want McKinsey to be treated as isolation case. The Akorino leaders have urged the government not to interfere with the affairs of the church, as every church has a different faith and constitution, thus no need for regulation. Speaking at Kikuyu, Ithaga, Murang'a County, the cleric said it shouldn't be construed to mean all pastors are like Paul McKinsey, insisting that the church was capable of regulating itself without government interference in its internal affairs.
Ningeomba serikali ifate kufuatilia yeye mwenyewe juu yeye ndiye criminal kwa ile mambo alipatikana nayo. Kwa hivyo mzigo wa mtu mmoja ama pasta mmoja uache kubebezwa wale wa pasta wengine wote juu ati ni mtu mmoja amekosea.
Kuna maneno ya kiroho na kuna maneno ya serikali. Kwa hivyo kanisa inafaa kujitenga na mambo yake. Sababu kanisa ni watu wanaabudu Mungu. Lakini ule pasta anafanya watu wakufe ama anaharibu neno la Mungu, achukuliwe jukumu lake mwenyewe.
Police in Matungu, Kakamega County, have arrested a man and his two wives for allegedly running an unlicensed children's home. The suspect, Morgan Golingo, and his wives are believed to have rented an apartment where they are alleged to be supporting over 10 children aged between 2 and 14 years, but in return assaulted them. The children are currently receiving treatment at Matungu Hospital, where it was confirmed that 2 girls had been defiled.
However, from my interviews, one of the child alleges to have been defiled by the owner of this home. So we are yet to confirm that with the medical results.
Tumepeleka watoto kwa hospitali leo hii kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba hawajadhulumiwa. Na watoto ambao tumepeleka kule wamekuwa watoto 6. Kwa bahati mbaya ripoti za hospitali zinaonyesha kwamba watoto 2 wameweza kudhulumiwa. Kwa hivyo sisi kama serikali ya gatuzi chini ya uongozi wa Mheshimiwa Gavana Fernandez Baraza tunahakikishia wananchi kwamba kesi hii tutahakikisha kwamba tuna wanasheria ambayo wataichukulia kuanzia hapa, kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba mashtaka ambayo yatawekwa na tuwe na ushahidi wa kutosha, kwa sababu huyu mhusika ambaye ameshiriki katika hii kesi tumepia baini ya kwamba si mara yake ya kwanza. Aliweza kushiriki katika mambo kama haya hapo awali na akaweza kuachiliwa kwa kukosa ushahidi. Hakukuwa na mashahidi wa kuweza kuelezea kile ambacho kilitokea.
The Interior CS Kithure Kindiki earlier today held bilateral talks with the UK Security Minister Tom Tugendhat, which focused on community security, preventions of violent extremism, counter-terrorism, regional security, and immigration crimes, among other things. The two countries also signed the Kenya-UK Compact 2023.
We have identified the need to strengthen the flow of illicit financial activities and to be able to rein in on money laundering and the financing of terrorism and other illegal activities. Other than that, we have also signed a letter of intent for cooperation between Kenya and the United Kingdom in information sharing with regard to maritime security. And therefore, going forward, our teams will be finalizing on the action plan so that our two countries can collaborate in enhancing a maritime security by sharing information and learning from the experiences of each other.
And so working together is the only way to secure the British people, just as it's the only way to secure the Kenyan people. So this partnership, building on a long and deep history of friendship, is exactly what we need to be doing together. And I'm very proud to have a friend in Professor Kindiki, who is showing the leadership in fighting money laundering, corruption, terrorism, and state threats, all together and all united.
Kenya is facing a serious shortage of skilled plumbers and masons, as many students opt for courses that they perceive to be more glamorous rather than technical education. This has become a major concern for stakeholders who are now urging the youth to consider blue-collar jobs and training as artisans. According to experts, there is a scarcity of labor in these fields, which has led to a significant gap in the market. This shortage has been attributed to a lack of appreciation for vocational and technical education, with many students preferring to pursue white-collar careers.
TVET institutions have proven to play a very central role in the country's socio-economic well-being, as they offer skills that power innovation and industrialization, thereby boosting the economy and creating jobs. Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies Director Mr. John Gitau has raised concerns about serious gaps in the academic institutions of the minority group that does not make it to the university.
We have seen the gap that because the government ably takes care, maximum care of what we call the basic education. That's from primary up to secondary. Also, again, the government does a good job in taking good care of those who have made it with A's and let's say C plus and above when they go to university. They are reasonably well taken care of. But this middle group, those who might not make it to go to university, they are not sometimes taken good care of.
While noting that the country is in need of middle-level workers, Mr. Gitau further stated that there is need for hiring certified workers to ensure efficient service delivery to drive the economy.
If you look at the world, the country called Germany has proven itself. Most of its development is because of what happens in the TVET sector. And us as an institution, we have taken all those learnings from outside the country and from within the country to actually position ourselves. And how we have positioned ourselves is actually by identifying what the country needs. And we have identified that what the country needs is the middle level workers. The people who actually drive the economy are the people who work with their hands. The people who can be able to actually convert theories into practice.
While showcasing their talents in their respective fields, these students at Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies say there is a ray of hope in battering TVETs, urging students who didn't make it to the universities to join TVETs and pursue their courses of choice.
It's a career opportunity for everybody, more so those who never qualified to go to university. This is a field whereby you can earn a living because it's a field where the careers are many.
Hii ni poa kwa sababu unajua kuna exposure, like wizi nini practicals, we do them like ni kama tuko huko nje. So hii exposure, it's good. At least tukienda huko hivyo nje, you know what you are doing.
Regarding the ongoing debate on TVETs being converted into university colleges, Mr. Gitao opposes their idea, saying TVET institutions use a hands-on approach in training, further proposing that every student should have a TVET level of education, whether they are undertaking a course in university or not.
I will not advocate at all for TVET institutions to be converted to universities. I would rather we have all TVET institutions expanded to the extent that they will be training, and then a small percentage of them will be progressing from TVET and then going again to progress to university, but not conversion.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
A section of leaders from Murang'a County are now saying the country's economic situation is deteriorating by the day. Speaking during a bursary disbursement program, Murang'a Women Representative Betty Maina says the president and his deputy ought to have found a solution to the country's economic problems. The leaders added that the Mount Kenya region should be allocated more bursary funds considering they are more populated and they need to be prioritized too. They say a one-man, one-shilling formula would be beneficiary for the region.
Watu wa mlima tunataka kupewa kila mtu kura yake, shilingi moja kwa kila mtu. Pesa igawanwe kulingana na vile watu wako. Siza tunapeana pesa yetu kwa KRA. Tunataka vile tu tunapeana, pesa irudishwe vile venye tunapeana.
We are going to push for fairness, especially for the Mount Kenya region people. We know for sure when the allocation was done, we did not get a fair share. When it comes to the sharings of bursaries, we need to have a one man, one vote, one sharing formula so that we as Kenyans, we the people of the mountain, we have a share fair of the taxations that the parliamentary budget, the bursaries, when they are being allocated, we get enough bursaries to educate our children.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua met stakeholders from the Ministry of Agriculture, led by PS State Department for Crop Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Kelo Hasama, and PS State Department for Livestock Harry Kimutai at his Harambee House Annex Office. The Deputy President urged stakeholders in the ministry to align the strategic priorities of the sector to the bottom-up economic transformation model, especially on key pillars of agriculture. Agriculture remains a key sector to the Kenyan economy, with the government remaining committed to achieving food security in the country.
We want the principal secretaries to align your projects with the Kenya Kwanza plan. Food security, universal health coverage, digital superhighway, and a creative economy, and housing.
We must feel the impact of this money. The Kenya Kwanza manifesto is centered on how the government will play a role of positively changing the lives of people. And this money has a capacity to change lives.
The monitoring team from President's unit will be able to go and check. Aligning it also with the better agenda of the Kenya Kwanza government is going to be done because we have the priority areas and the budgets that have been picked that are supposed to be prioritized so that Kenya Kwanza is able to deliver as per the manifesto that they promised the people. So we are guided in Nanyuki, and we have the 5 areas, of which the State Department for Livestock, for example, has been given leather value chain, dairy value chain, to spearhead that as well. Crops as well has textile, edible oils, and other value chains that the area department is aware of.
Internal auditors have converged in Mombasa for the 20th annual seminar to mark the Processions Awareness Month, create awareness, and discuss the emerging trends within their functions. They revealed that their biggest challenge is when the public sector has compromised its independence in terms of reporting by placing them lowly in organizations. During the month, they have called on the internal auditors to have good networking and help demystify myths associated with them as they remain focused to promote integrity as their core value.
We do on an everyday basis the importance of internal audit and good governance in organizations. So we urge all internal auditors to demystify the myths related to internal audit, to talk about the work associated with the internal auditors, the value addition, the emerging trends. So we've lined up a number of activities to create awareness in the internal audit profession. Again, on issues of placement of internal auditors in the public sector, most especially the county governments, where the internal audit function is not